Good afternoon, fellow viewers. Welcome back to Easy Mathematics. We thank God today is Monday and we are uploading the next one on decimal fraction. Today we want to continue from where we stopped. The other day we looked at the changing decimals to common fraction to decimals, and also we looked at the comparing and ordering of decimal fractions. Today we want to look at the operations on decimal fraction. When we say operation on decimal fraction, it is the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of decimal fraction. So let's start with the addition of decimal fraction. Now, to perform the addition of decimal fraction, we have to remember certain things, which is the decimal point. Now, last time we met, we said that all the numbers on the left of the decimal point are whole numbers, and those on your right are the decimals. So if I'm to add a number like this, which is 2.6 plus 3.84, we have to arrange the numbers according to their place value system. And we know what the place values are. The first number for the whole number, each place value is ones, tens, and that order. And for the decimals, we have tenths. That is a 10 with a TH. So in adding this, I'm going to say 2.6. If you look at this number, the point is written here. The place for this 3 is ones. The place for the 8 is tenth. And that of the 4 is hundredth. So we say decimal point under decimal point, tenth under tenth, hundredth under hundredth, and so on and so forth. So when you come to the whole number side, we have only ones as their place value. So because there is no number here, we are going to write 0. Then we perform this addition the normal way that we know. So 0 plus 4 is going to give us 4. 6 plus 8 is going to give us 14. Remainder 1. We bring our decimal point. 2 plus 3 is going to give us 5. Plus our remainder is going to be 6. So adding this plus this is going to give us 6.44. Remember, after the decimal point, we don't mention the numbers as in 6.44. So you are going to say 6.44. Good. Let's look at the number 2. We have 13.6 plus 112.903. So in adding this, we have our 13.6. Decimal point should be under decimal point. So with this number, my decimal point is going to be here. Ones under ones. So the place of 2 is ones. So it's going to be under the place which is 3 is also ones. This one is tenths. And I have this one here. When I come to this side, I'm going to have 903. Because there are no numbers here and here, I'm going to replace them with zeros. What am I doing? I am adding. So I'll just add or do the addition. This plus 3 is going to give me 3. This is going to give us 0. 6 plus 9 is 15. So 5. Remember 1. We bring our point here. 3 plus 2 is 5. Plus our remainder is going to be 6. 1 plus 1 will give us 2. 0 plus 1 will give us 1. So performing the addition of these decimals, we are going to get 126.503. So with the subtraction and the addition of whole decimals, You just group them according to their place values. Then you go or you perform the operation. When you come to this side too, we have 6.47 plus 1.07 plus 84.3. So here we have 3 terms, term 1, term 2, term 3. You can choose to add all the 3 or you group them. So let's say I want to perform the operation for this. So how do I do the operation? Decimal under decimal. So I'm going to say this is 6.47. Then here I have points. So 107. Then you perform your operation. We are adding. So don't forget to bring your additional sign or the addition sign. Then you do the addition according to the arranged place value system. So 7 plus 7 is 14. Write 4, as we all know. We bring the remainder to the next number. 4 plus 0 is 0. Plus your remainder will give us 5. 6 plus 7. 6 plus 1 is going to give us 7. Now when we put these two numbers together, we have this. And this is going to be added to this. So let's say 7.54 plus 84. So decimal point and a decimal point. We have our 4 here. We have our 8 here. So our 3 is going to be here. Low number 0, low number 0. We apologize for compressing the solution. Now you just perform your addition. 4 plus 0 is going to give us 4. 5 plus 3 is going to give us 8. 7 plus 4 is going to give us 11. So we are going to record 1. Remainder 1. 0 plus 8 is 0. Plus our remainder will give us 9. So the solution for this is 91.84 as our final answer. So when it comes to the addition, you just perform the normal addition, but make sure that you arrange them according to their place value system. So the first number after the decimal point is tenth, 100, 1000 with TH. And the first number before the decimal point, or just the number right after, the number that comes right, or the number that the decimal comes after, is the ones. So ones, tens, hundreds, and so on and so forth. Good. Now when you come here, this one is subtraction. So we have to perform the subtraction of this. We have 12.8 minus 0.74 and 6. Remember, place values under place values. So point under point, ones, tenth. There is no number here, so let's say 0. Here is also 0. Now, 0 minus 4 can't be possible, or we say it is impublicant. So what do? We borrow. The normal addition and subtraction we know. So borrowing will give me 7. This will be 10. So 10 minus 4 will give me 6 here. 7 minus 7 is 14. If I record 4, you bring the 1 as a remainder. So we are subtracting. So 7 minus 7, we are subtracting. It was 8, but we borrowed 1 from the 8. It is now 7. So 7 minus 7, I did it addition. So 7 minus 7 will give us 0. Now we have here 2 minus 6. It is not possible. So we are also going to borrow from 1, and this will be 12. So 12 minus 6 will give us 6. 0 minus 0 is 0. So the answer for this is 6.06. But you come to the number 5. We have the bracket of 0.91 plus 2.37 minus the bracket of 2 plus 1.56. Now let's look at the solution for this. Deal with this one. You deal with this one. When you finish, what do? You subtract. So let me deal with the one in the bracket here. The first one, I'm adding. So I'm going to say 0.91 plus 2.37. Putting this together is going to give us 8. 9 plus 3 is 12. So 2, remember 1. This becomes 3.28. So this one will be, the bracket for this one will be 3.28. Now let me solve for this one. I have 2 as my whole number, and I have here 1.56. So the decimal for 2 becomes 0. So what am I doing? I am adding. I've done the bracket for this one. We had this. And the bracket for this one, we are about to solve it. So what are we doing? We are adding. So 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 plus 5 is 5. 2 plus 1 is 3 point. Now, writing for this, I'm going to get this minus, and I've been able to solve this as this. So I have 3.28 minus this bracket, which is 3.56. We have to do the subtraction for this. Now, when you look at this, let's clean this one since we've been able to look at it. When you look at this, we have 3.28 minus 3.56. Now when you look at this carefully, the first one is quite lesser than the second one. So you should know that if I'm able to do this, then my answer is going to be in a negative form. Just like 2 minus 1 is 1. But if you have this in its reciprocal way, as in 1 minus 2, you are going to get negative 1. So the same idea we are going to use for this. So if you look at this one, the greater number is 3.56 and 3.28 is the lesser one. So we are going to bring, if you have to solve this, our answer is going to be in negative. So we will just reciprocal it and solve for it. So this is going to give me 3.56 minus 3.28. So let's do our subtraction and see. 6 minus 8 is not possible. So we borrow, this becomes 4. This becomes 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. Now this is now 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. So when we brought the greatest number or the number that is greater in front, we had this. So if you subtract the greater from the list, it means you are going to get negative 0.28 as our answer. Just as we did here. 2 minus 1 is 1. So if you try to reverse it as 1 minus 2, you are going to get negative 1. Just as the one here. So when it comes to the addition and subtraction, you just group them and you perform the calculation. Now when you come here to, we have 4,108.6 minus 18.03 minus 0.003. What are we doing? We have to subtract, but the terms are 3. So let's deal with the first 2 and later on come with the next one. So I have 4,108.6 minus point here 0.381. So I have my 0 here, 0 here, 0 here. What am I doing? I am subtracting. So we have to bring the sign. 0 minus 3 is not possible. So we borrow 1 from here. This becomes 10. 10 minus 3 will give us 7. Now this is 5. And 5 minus 0 is 5. 8 minus 8, 0. 0 minus 1, not possible. So this becomes 0. This becomes 10. 10 minus 1 will give us 9. 0 minus 0 is 0. 4 minus 0 will give us 4. So the calculation for this, we had this. So we are going to subtract this from the result we had from putting the first 2 in brackets. And the result was 4090.57 minus 0.003. There is no number, so we are going to replace it with a 0. Now let's do the subtraction. 0 minus 3 is not possible, so borrow. This becomes 6, this becomes 10. 10 minus 3 will give us 7. Now this is now 6, and 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 0 is 5. So we have our point here, 0904. So this becomes the answer if you do it this way. So with the addition and subtraction, we are just going to arrange the numbers according to their place value system or their place, then you perform the addition or the subtraction. Now let's look at the addition and subtraction of decimal fraction in a word problem form. In a word problem form. Where instead of us, where we will be giving, let's say, this point, this plus this, now they're putting it in words for us to evaluate. So we have here, subtract 6.972 from the sum of this and this. So when you listen to the question carefully, we have to subtract this one from the sum. And when we say sum, sum means put them together. So we are going to add this and this. Our final answer that we are going to get, we'll just subtract this one from it. So let's perform the addition. We have been taught addition and subtraction. So adding this and this will be 7.25 plus 0.72. You just arrange them place value under place value. So when you look at this, 5 plus 2 is 7. 2 plus 7 is 9. 7 plus 0 is 7. So the sum of this and this is this. And they are asking you to subtract 6.972 from this. So our expression is going to be 7.97 minus 6.972. This will be our expression. So we have to subtract this from the sum, which is this. So since there is no number here, we can say that the number here is 0. So now what do? You do your normal subtraction. 0 minus 2, not possible, so you come and borrow from 7, and 7 becomes 6, this becomes 10. 10 minus 2 will give me 8. Now you come to the next one, 6 minus 7, this one is not possible. Borrow from 9, this becomes 8, and this becomes 16. Now 16, if you take 7 out of 16, we are going to get 9. When you come here, now this one is 8, no more 9 because you've taken 1 out. So 8 minus 9 is not possible. So borrow from 7 and 7 becomes 6. 8, the one that we borrowed here, when it comes here, it becomes 10. So 18, putting them together. So 18 minus 9 will give us 9. 0.6 minus 6 is 0. So subtracting this from the sum of this and this is going to give us 0.998. Good. And let's look at the 8th one, also in a word problem form. It says that add the sum of this and this. We have two additions here. Add the sum of this and this. So we have to find the sum of this and this, and also their difference, because the question is add the sum of this and this to their difference. So what is asking us to do is that find the sum of this and this and find the difference. So the question is, what is difference here? Difference simply represents subtraction. So after you finding the sum of this, find the difference again. When you find the difference, add the sum to the difference. So what is the sum of this? The sum will give us 10.3 plus 0.3. So this will give me 6.01. So the sum of these two decimals is 10.6. Now I have to calculate for the difference, because I'm to add the sum, which is this, to their difference. And difference means what? Subtraction. So 0.3. You have to subtract. So 3 minus 3 will give me 0. 0 minus 0 will give me 0. 1 minus 0 will give me 1. So the difference of this is this. And the sum of this and this is this. Now I am to what? Add the sum, which is this, to their difference. So I'm now going to add 10.6 plus 10.0. Why? Because I am to add the sum to their difference. And difference means subtract. So I'm just to perform the addition. So this will give me 6 here, 0.02. So putting the sum and the difference together, we are going to get 20.6 as our final answer. Let's look at the last word problem. It says that a boy was sent on an errand with 15 Ghana cedis, 62 pesos. On his way, 8 cedis, 02 pesos got lost. On his way, 8 cedis, 2 pesos got lost, or 02 pesos got lost. How much was left? So when you look at the question, it is clear that we have to do subtraction. I gave you 15 cedis. 15 cedis that I gave you, 8 cedis got lost. How much do you have left? 8. How did you get the 8? By taking the 7 from the 15. So the same thing you are going to do here. You are going to take this number from the amount that the boy was holding. You have to do subtraction. 2 minus 2 is 0. 6 minus 0 is 6. Point. I have 5 minus 8. 5 minus 8 is not possible. So I'll borrow 0. This becomes 15. So 15 minus 8 is 7. So the question asks, how much was left? We are going to say, therefore, 7 Ghana cedis, 60 pesos was left. Because we have to subtract. You have this and you mistakenly misplace this. You are going to have this left. So that is for the addition and subtraction and the word problem in addition and subtraction. Now let's come to the multiplication. Multiplication is also easy that is how to multiply decimals or decimal fractions. To multiply decimals, what we do is that you are going to annex the the decimal point. So we are going to take off the decimal point and assume there is no decimal point. So when you look at this number, I have 8.21 times 10. So if I take off the decimal point from here, I'm going to have 821 times 10. If you are multiplying decimals, assume there are no decimals. Or in other words, take away the decimals. After taking away the decimal here, I'm going to get 821 times 10. Then you perform the operation on this, which is 821 times 10. And 821 times 10 is going to give us 8,210 after multiplying this. Now when you finish multiplying, remember that you were dealing with decimals and you took away the decimal point. Now come back and ask yourself, how many numbers were after the decimal point before you took the decimal point away? When you look here, there is no decimal point. Or when you look here, there is a decimal point. So ask yourself, how many numbers are after the decimal point? 2 numbers. So make sure that your final answer here, 2 numbers should be after a decimal point. So 1, 2. I'll bring my point here. So multiplying this times 10, we are going to get 82.10 as our answer. Anytime you do multiplication, that's what you are going to do. So when you come to the number 2, we have this. So annex or take off the decimal point. If I take off the decimal point here, I'm going to get 002 times 008. 002 times 008 is the same as 2 times 8. So this is going to give me 2 times 8. So 2 times 8, which we all know that is equal to 16. So 2 times 8 is equal to 16. Now, look at the question. You were given in decimals, so your final answer should also be in decimals. But ask yourself, how many numbers were after the decimal point? 4 numbers. Why is it 4? 2 here, 2 here. So I have 1, 2, 1, 2. So 2 plus 2 will give me 4. So we have to also make sure that after this, the number that we have, the answer we have here, there should be 4 numbers after the decimal point. So I have 2 here already. So what do? Bring zeros in front, 0.0. So putting this together and multiplying will give me this is equal to 0.0016 as our final answer. Let's come to number 2. We have 13.2 times 0.05. Take off the decimal point, you are going to get 132 times 0.05. Sorry, take off the decimal point, so you are going to get 005. This 005 is the same as 5. This is 005. If I take off the 0, it's the same as 5. So to perform the multiplication for this, so let me use this place. 132 times 5. 5 to 10. We know the multiplication table already. So 5, 3, 15, 6. Remember 1. 5, 1, 5 plus this 6. So multiplying this times this, we are going to get 660 or 660. Now come to this number. How many numbers are after the decimal point? Anytime you take off the decimal point, we took off the decimal point so that we will be able to multiply it easy or in an easy way. Good. So the numbers after the decimal point are 1, 2, 3. They are 3. So you make sure that this your answer, you have 3 numbers after decimal point, which is going to be point here 0, 1, 2, 3. So my answer for this becomes 0.660 or 0.66. Now let's look at the number 4, the last one for multiplication. This is a whole number, so I have 8 times. Take off the decimal point, you are going to get 0001. And 0001 is the same as 1. So you do your multiplication, 818. How many numbers are after the decimal point? 3. 1, 2, 3. So you have to make sure that after this, the answer that we have, after a decimal point, there should be 3 numbers. So 0, 0.0. So the multiplication is going to be done, is going to be 0.008. So that is it for multiplication. And let's look at the twin brother of division, of multiplication, which is division. Now with the division, we are going to use what we did the other time. That is how to change decimals into common fraction. That is what we are going to use. So if you look at this one, we have 4.8 divided by 4. 4.8 divided by 4. Look for the decimal and change it into common fraction. So the decimal that I have here is this. Changing this into common fraction will give me 4 whole number 8/10. We talked about this in our previous video, so you can visit the page and look for decimals. That is how to change from one to the other. Divided by 4. Now we can't deal with mixed fraction, so we have to change the mixed fraction into improper by multiplying 4 times 10, adding this. So 4 times 10 is 40 plus 8, giving me 48/10 divided by 4. Now if you remember, we were told that every whole number is over 1. So it means this whole number, which is 4, is also over 1. Now because we are dealing with division, this division here, it is going to change into multiplication. The division sign here will be multiplication. When the sign changes, the 48/10 will not be affected, but the 1/4 is going to be affected. Okay, so the 4/1 will be affected because we've changed the division sign to multiplication. How was it affected? You can see that the 4 is now the denominator and 1 is the numerator. We call it the reciprocal of it. So the reciprocal of 4/1 is 1/4. Now when you look at this, we can do some simplification or cancellation. And the cancellation is done this way or that way. So let me do the cancellation this way. I can say 2 will go into 4 2 times, and 2 will go into this one 24 times. Again, I can simplify because 2 can go into 24. So 2 here 1, 2 here 12. Now I have here 12/10. Again, I can simplify this one. So 2 here 6, 2 here 5, which will give me 6/5. Now I can't leave my answer here. Why? Because I am dealing with decimals. So I have to change this into decimals. So to change this into decimals, we are going to get 1.2. You are going to get 1.2 if you change this into decimals. You have to change it into decimal. Why? Because we are dealing with decimals, not common fraction or improper fraction. But we have to change them into that way to be able to solve it. And in our previous video, we talked about how to change this one into decimal. That is how to change common fraction into decimal. So it will give us 1.2. And let's look at the second example. Because of the board, we are unable to solve more questions on this one, and we apologize. So let's look at the number 2. Number 2, we have 0.18 divided by 3. Also, make sure that you change the decimals into common fraction. So this is going to give me 18 over 100 divided by 3. We were told that every whole number is over 1. So, because we've been able to do this, now this looks like a fraction, this also looks like a fraction. So, the division sign will change into multiplication. When this changes to multiplication, it will affect the fraction on your right. That is, you are going to write the reciprocal of it. But this one, it won't be affected over 100. Then you ask yourself, can I simplify? If yes, you go ahead. So if you look at this, I can say 3 year 1, 3 year 6. So 6 times 1 will give me 6. 100 times 1 will give me 100. Now with this, I can simplify again. So I'm going to say 2 year 3, 2 year 25, which is 3 over 25. Now, we don't have to pause here. Why? Because we were not given in this way. So we have to change it into decimal. So let's do the calculation here. We have 25 and 3. 25 cannot go into 3, so we say 0.0. Now it can go here 1. If you subtract, you have 5. You have 0 here. 25 we're going to 52 times. So we are going to get 0.12 as our answer. 0.12 as the answer. For more calculations on how we had 3 over 25 getting 0.12. For more calculations, visit our previous video on decimals, how to change text. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned. God bless you. And see you, God willing, Friday as we look at the standard form in decimal fraction. Thank you. Bye-bye.